So there you are. You've watched all the YouTube videos. You've looked at your local woods. You've made a list of all the gear that you want to buy, and you're thinking to yourself, I want to get into bushcraft. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get into bushcraft, but I need a knife. What bloody knife will I get? Well, I'm here to help. Stay tuned. This is a box full of knives. Let's dump them out, let's have a look at them, and let's see what I think a beginner bushcrafter should get as their first knife. Now I just need somewhere to dump them. Hey Cooter, what are you up to? Bushcraft knives, guys. Bushcraft knives, they come in all shapes and sizes, okay? Folding knives, you know, Opinel number 9 here, very good folding knife. Not what I would recommend as a bushcraft knife, but it's a really solid folding knife. Old school, very good, you know, stood the test of time. Okay, that's carving knife, no good. Guys, Bruno, you're not a knife. You're not a knife, okay? Guys, I have everything here, right? I have the, you know, 300 and something pound custom handmade, you know, AP design, 6mm thick beast of a knife, you know, to your 8 quid Hultafors knife, okay? You know, stainless steel blade, Scandinavian grind, nice comfy handle, guys, and everything in between, okay? And what I want to do, I also have my gentleman folder knife that I wear to weddings and funerals. Guys, what I want to do is I just want to talk, oh, hang on, skin and knife. I get distracted easily. Bruno, can you go away with your sticks? Okay, what I want to do is I want to talk about the pros and cons, guys, and where I think is a good start, okay? That's the basics of this video. I hope, I'm going to try and stick to that. I hope I can stick to that. Okay. So we have everything in here. We have big choppers, okay? This is a good knife. This is the Chris Kane companion knife, okay? Not something I would really recommend as your first bushcraft knife. Now, if you want it, buy it. If you want any of these and you're like, yeah, I can afford this, buy it. They're all excellent knives, okay? This is the Buck 110, and this is a very, 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 very famous knife, guys, okay? Very famous knife, but not something I would recommend for bushcraft either, for various reasons. This one, that is not really a bushcraft knife. I'm going to put that off to the side. And this is the thing, right? This is the thing. All these knives will bushcraft. All these knives will make feather sticks. All these knives will cut rope. All these knives will... Not all these knives will batten, okay? Now, and for me, that is something that I do when I'm bushcrafting. So this, you know, so that's going to be part of it as well, okay? A kitchen knife will do a lot of stuff you need a bushcraft knife to do, okay? When you get further into it and your skill set becomes more, you'll find that you need your knife to do different things in different ways, okay? So what we're looking at here, guys, is this is the Spyderco Bushcraft UK. I'm going to move the camera again. This little beauty right here, guys, is a knife that hasn't seen the light of day in a long time. And this is actually the Red Branch knife, and this was a prototype knife that myself and Davey from Brock Knives came up with, and we never actually went any further with this. And this is quite a nice knife, quite a nice knife. We need some work on the handle, I think, but quite a nice knife. Guys, there's your Hultafors, there's your Mora, the Cambusol, I can't remember how that, okay, very good knife as well. And there is, of course, very recently did a video on that, guys, and that is the Jahari Puko from Varstalika, an excellent knife, okay. Bottom of the barrel, in price wise, guys, that's a Hultifer safety knife, and they cost about £3. They do not cost a lot of money. Okay, and that is, you know, that's a carbon steel Scandinavian ground knife. You know, will do a lot of things, and it has a rounded tip, so maybe something you might think about if you're thinking about buying a knife for your child, teenager, child. I said child. And this is the upper end, guys, and that's that AP Designs. Check that out, guys. Okay. And then we have your Condor, and that is the, oh, I cannot think the name of that. I cannot think the name of that knife. A siren. There's never sirens here. Anyway, okay, and then we have the Mora Companion. This is the Mora Basic, guys. That is a stainless steel blade, and that is a Scandinavian grind as well. Very capable knife. Okay, guys, these are spray painted so that I can see them in the forest easier if they get dropped. Okay, and what we have here, guys, is we have the Glock field knife Brinyte. The Glock field knife, and that just arrived today. Okay, these are all knives that would be considered bushcraft knives. Wait. No, it's gone. These are knives that would all be considered bushcraft knives. Some of them would be considered survival knives. What is the difference, guys? Let's put a fat one. What is the difference? Well, a bushcraft knife to me is something that you take into the woods to perform certain tasks with. A survival knife is the knife that is in your pocket if you find yourself in a survival situation, right? Okay. What would I recommend if I was starting bushcraft all over again? What would I recommend? Would I say go get yourself a 200 and something pound handmade custom knife? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, not at all. Okay, because you might change your mind and your knife preference might change over time. Now, this is still something that is nice and it's beautiful to look at, and it sits in a drawer for me and it's not used. Okay, would I recommend the Condor Kephart? That's what it's called. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend this knife. To me, this knife is a little bit too expensive and a little bit too fragile. Okay, if you're only starting out in these things, especially if you're younger, you know, there's a chance that you're gonna use this in a way it's not intended to be used, and this will not stand up to it. Okay, this I would recommend, guys. If you have around £60 and that's your budget, I would definitely recommend the Vorstolika Jari Puku 110. It is an absolute beast of a knife. You're not going to break this thing. It's going to last you a lifetime. It can take a beating and it can do everything you need. I would maybe take a file to the spine and just sharpen the spine up a little bit, because it's not the best at throwing sparks. This doesn't really exist. This, guys, is the Spyderco Bushcraft UK, and yes, this is a really good knife. My favourite knife of all time. Okay, but it costs 220 quid. Okay, so that's why I would not recommend it for your first bushcraft knife. What I would be looking at, guys, your Mora knife, this Camsol. This is a cracking first knife, a really good first knife. Okay, it is going to do most everything that you need it to do. Okay, maybe about a 10 or 15 quid cheaper than the Vorstolika knife. Okay, the Glock knife, I haven't put it through its paces yet. As I said, it just arrived today, but it is in and around in between the price range of these knives, guys. And then you have your Hultifers. I'm going to assume you don't want a safety knife, so I'm going to put that one away. Your Hultifers stainless steel. Now, carbon steel versus stainless steel. Your carbon steel is going to require you to look after it a wee bit more. It's going to require that you oil it, that you sharpen it, and that you take care of it, okay? If you have a habit of leaving stuff in a rucksack for weeks and weeks on end, then I would be looking at stainless steel, okay? It is harder to sharpen. You are not going to be able to throw sparks of it with a piece of flint if you need to, like you can with carbon steel. But does anybody really do that? I don't know, guys. But it's stainless. If you get this wet and you leave this in your bag for 3 weeks, it is still going to get rust spots, okay? It's not, you know, it's not magic. Hey. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So, going from experience, I don't have enough experience of this, guys, and it is quite a long blade. This is the Glock. I haven't quite figured out the opening yet either. I'm scared of cutting my hand. That's a very long blade. It's quite thick. It's probably about 4 mil thick, but it's like, this has got stabby knife written all over it. Do you know what I mean? This really looks like a fighting knife to me at this stage. I haven't tested it yet, but that's what it looks like. So that boils us down to, from my collection, your Mora or your Hultafors, or any of those knives based like this. They are a rat tang construction, guys, which means that they do not have, the blade does not continue the whole way inside the handle. Well, I've never broken one of these, and I've never actually seen anybody break one who did not completely just set out to break it, okay? You know, these things cost less than a tenner, all right? And that is your Varstalika knife, guys. And any of these 3 knives are what I would suggest as a beginner bushcraft knife. I really would, okay? And the only difference it's going to make to you about these knives is going to be your budget, what you have to spend, okay? This being the most expensive, and this being the cheapest, okay? So your Jari Puko, your Mora, and then your Mora or your Hultafors, guys. Any of those, this type of knife are absolutely fantastic to get you started, okay? As you get into this, and the same with all hobbies, obviously you look at that, you see the fancier things. Hey Bruno, you see the beautiful knives, and you see the handmade and the custom knives and stuff like that, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, maybe one of those, you know, hey, look, if you can afford it, get it. You know, that's what I say. Why would you not? Isn't that right, Bruno? Bruno's favorite knife for bushcraft is a stick, guys. And as soon as you get a knife, get a folding saw, because you'll use the saw more than you'll use the knife. Thanks for watching. Stay frosty. Hey Bruno, Bruno Italiano. You're not Italian, you're German. Guys, I have videos about every one of these knives on the channel, okay? Just have a look at the knife playlist. They're all there.